Hey, this is Peggy with Easy Peasy Machine Embroidery, and today I am going to be into the Creativate Embroidery software using the Elite version. If you have my Sonnet, it would be referred to as the Platinum version. And we're going to be playing with patterns and fills. So I'm going to open up the software and I can get to the digitizing from this screen, but I like to use blank canvas. And here's where you set your hoop for whatever type of machine you're using. And I want the 200 by 200. And I'm going to go into the Create tab where all the goodies are found. And I'm going to click on Digitizing. And right here, I'm just going to hit Cancel. And just to make things simple and easy, and it's never simple and easy, but we're going to go into the Shape area. I kind of jumped the gun a little bit there, and I'm going to pick the square. And I'm going to change the satin line to a running stitch. And for now, I'm going to click on the top of the pattern fill box to turn it off. And I'm just going to start creating some boxes. And I'm going to do a copy and put boxes right next to each other. And I'm going to select both of those, and I can go to Home, and I can say Copy, and Paste. And I'm going to just keep doing a paste into center and keep making those boxes. I just did a Control-C for copy, Control-V for paste, and another Control-V for paste, and another Control-V for paste. So now I have 6 boxes to work with. So I'm going to click on, I'm going to get rid of that little tile. I'm going to click on the first box, and I'm going to right click and right click again. Right now it says we're no fill and we have a running stitch. So I can choose a pattern fill now. And you have all of these patterns that you can use. So I'm just going to, I'll do the balloons. And I'm going to keep running stitch there, but I could also say I want a double stitch, or a double zigzag, or a triple stitch, a satin line, or a motif. So I'm going to just leave it at running stitch. You can also say I want it more dense or less dense. I'm going to leave it at 2 and say apply. I could also come over here and change the color. That's example 1. Now I'm going to go over to the next tile. I'm going to right click and say Properties. Actually, I'm going to do a color change first. And there it is. And I'm going to right click and say Properties. And let's do a motif fill. See what that looks like. And let's do a double stitch. And here's the motifs we can use. But you can really go to town with this one. So I'm just going to pick general motifs and the circle and say apply. And that's what we have there. And I'm going to do a insert color change. Remember, when you do insert color change, it's going to insert it below the last block. So here is number 4. It'll insert it into the number 5 position. Running stitch. I'm going to do insert color, properties. And I'm going to do motif fill again. But now I'm going to do 2 motifs. And I'm going to do geometric. And I'm going to look at all the geometric things that are here. And I'm going to choose number 11. And I can also mess with the size and the height. And now I'm going to do motif 2. And I'm going to say use motif 2. And this is probably going to get a little crazy. Let's try this one. And I'm going to move my box over here for fill area and line so I can see what I'm doing, and hit apply. So see how we've got 2 different motifs there? Oh, that's kind of neat. And I mean, you can spend hours here. So I'm going to say OK. And now I'm going to do insert color change. So box 6 was my last one, so it'll put the color change under it. I'm just going to pick any old random color. I'm going to click below my last color change and right click and go into Properties. And now I'm going to use a triple stitch. And for the fill, I'm going to go back into motifs one more time, because we have Husqvarna motifs, and those are the motifs, the stitches that are on your machine generally. But I'm also going to make you aware that FAF has motifs that you can use. So I'm going to say I would like flowers and leaves. I'm going to take a look at those. I'm going to pick leaves number 18. And again, I can mess with the size. And now I'm going to add a second motif. Click the Use Second Motif box. And I'm going to go down into FAF again. And let's see what the art stitches look like. Let's try number 4. Okay, so see what I mean when I say that, oh my goodness, you can play and play and play here. Again, I'm going to drag this box over. And I'm going to go up here to decorative again. Where was it? It helps to remember where you've been messing around. Let's try art stitches. I think that's where I was. So here's the art stitch. And I'm going to leave the size the same. Now I'm going to go into motif 2, into art stitches, and I am going to go to the smallest one I can use and say OK. So that kind of gives an interesting type of background. And now I am going to do an ungroup. Because I want to work with those that I grouped. And ungroup those. Alright, so let's go back into Insert Color Change. Remember, I'm on the last one that I worked with. I'll do green this time. Remember, we're just playing with the fills and the borders. So I'm going to do a spiral fill now. See what that looks like. I can even click gradient. So I can double click. I can add, hold on, I can add a marker. And it does not want me to add colors to this one at this point, so we'll do that another time. Oh, yeah, that's because it's a spiral. Duh. If I were to say I wanted a pattern fill, it would let me add a gradient. So right now the color is yellow that I picked, remember. And maybe I want a orange there. And I'm going to pick a dark orange. And I'm going to say apply. And that's what that would look like. And I can adjust these. Okay? The world is your oyster. I can even say I would like an angle there. You just have to get in there and play. I cannot emphasize that enough. Okay. Insert color change one more time. And the reason I'm doing these with the boxes is it gives you a good opportunity to just get in there and play. Right click gives me, and one more right click gives me the fill area and line properties, or I can just go into, say OK there, or I can just click on the tile and say properties. And when I do that, it's the left click. And I can say no fill. Let's do a radial fill this time. And here you're going to mess with the density. So if I say apply, that's the density. If I move it up, it's going to make it less dense. If I move it down, it's going to make it more dense. And the other thing I can do is click on that little orange circle and move that around. Okay, so that is the radial fill. And now I'm going to do insert color change. So I'm going to right click, I'm going to do a left click and go into insert color change. And now I'm going to click on where it says running stitch. Which is a right click to select it. And now I'm going to go into properties, which is a left click. And I am going to do, let's do crosshatch fill. And we're going to do apply. And say OK. Hold on, let's move it out here. And say OK. And now I'm going to do a square and apply. Okay, so you could do lines and say apply. You could do parallel, and let's do mess with the angle. Playing is learning, as my friend Linda would say, and that would be Linda Wade. And we're going to do insert properties. And do another color change and select the next box with a left click and a right click to go into properties. And let's try an echo fill. And again, we're going to move this out of the way so we can see what we're doing. I'm going to do a satin line around it this time. And here you can mess with the gap. And the higher the number, the more the gap. The lower the number, the tighter the gap. We're just going to say OK here. For line, you can mess with the satin stitch, how wide it is. or how narrow it is. And I think I'll leave that there. And we got one more to mess with. So again, I'm going to do a right click, insert color change. I'll do a real light color there. And I'm going to left click to select the next box and then do a right click and properties. And I'm going to do, oh lordy, let's do a motif line here. That could be pretty wild. I'm going to go back up though to the applique stitches. And I'm going to just click on this one. Actually, let's go into decorative stitches. I'm looking for something very specific. I'm looking for this one. And I'm going to take it down as far as I can go. I'm going to move this to the box, selection box to the side. And I'm going to apply that. And I'm going to go back into the fill. And I'm going to do an echo fill. Hold on, I think I just did that. Bailey is out there barking. So if you hear a dog barking, that's my pup. Let's do a multi-wave. Apply. And if you go up, it's going to make it less dense. And it will only go up to 40. And you can also make it, well, I don't think I want it to be 2, because that would be, let's do 15. And there's no way we're going to leave that at 15. Now we're going to take it all the way up. Remember, I just added a motif in there, which I actually learned something from this. And we're going to say apply. So you could do motifs as your line also. And I am going to say no to the motifs, which was back there in options and densities. And we're going to say okay. All right, I hope that you get in here. I'm going to do a select all and quick create. I'm going to do a circle. I'm going to do a pattern fill and say shape fill. And say properties. And hold on, 3 seconds here. Shape fill. I'm going to move this out of the way. This is what your shape fill looks like. Apply. Or we can go down and apply. You just gotta mess with things. And just for kicks and giggles, I could go back into the Creativate software, say finish, and now I could actually add lettering to it if I wanted to. And 35. Oh. Yeah, man. I'm going to type a font in there. I'm going to say apply. I'm going to move this up here. And remember, if we don't want any fill underneath those letterings, we're going to do combine all. And now we're going to look at it and see what the design. I need to scooch that just a little bit. And we're going to go into Design Player. And see how it left the lettering blank so it doesn't get too dense. And remember, I did that because I had the check remove overlap box checked. Okay, so I hope you've learned a little bit today. Catch you later. Bye.